create a lesson. To create a lesson in PocketLab Notebook, you can do that from the My Lessons page by clicking Create New Lesson. This will prompt you to add your first card to one of these lessons. So I'll add a text card here. So in text cards, you can give them a title and add text content. You can also embed links or embed images into these, and there's some basic formatting options for these text cards. Then to add a new card, you can click these plus buttons. So collect data cards are places to connect PocketLab sensors or upload data from CSV files. The draw card is a drawing panel where students can create simple diagrams and annotate images. So as a teacher, you can add a background image to this, maybe with some kind of template, and then students can draw on that. You can also embed PhET simulations. We have a number of pre-built PhET simulation lessons that you can find in the lesson library, or you can embed your own here. So I might add this simulation, and then students will be able to interact with the simulation directly in this lesson. There's a few different ways of visualizing data. So you can add data tables that students can input information into. You can add rows and columns. Students will be able to do this as well. And you can rename your various sections and add data into these cells. There's also a map. So students can add waypoints onto this map at maybe places they collect data. They can add a description, they can upload an image of where they recorded or add a screenshot of their graph that they recorded at this location. You can also color code these data points. There's also bar graphs that you can use to compare different data across trials, or use a scatter plot. As if you're looking at maybe you measure pressure versus time and temperature versus time, but you want to see temperature versus pressure. Using a scatter plot is a good way to organize that kind of data. There's also a few different types of questions that you can ask students, so multiple choice or short answer questions. Short answer question, you can just ask them a question and students will have this respond option where they can type their answers. As a teacher, you can also add example answers if you'd like. And then these group and class discussion questions look the same as these individual questions, but they're marked as group work instead of independent work. So with this one, if you assign a lesson to students in a lab group, they'll be able to see each other's answers for this group discussion question. Even if students are in a lab group and you add an independent section, students won't see each other's answers. So this is a good option for if you want students to work together to collect data and work on part of a lesson, but then write individual conclusions. And then finally, there's a class discussion, so students will see answers from everyone in the entire class in these cards. So this is a great way for students to kind of brainstorm together and think of a bunch of ideas. And then multiple choice questions, these are independent. You can ask a question and add different answers. And if you like, there's some automated feedback you can give students. So maybe we have a few different answers here. We can mark B as the correct answer. You can give students hints when they get these questions right or wrong. You can add multiple hints, so on their first attempt they'll get this try again. On their second attempt, if they get it wrong again, you can maybe give them a more specific hint. And then when they get it correct, they'll get this correct answer message. And then finally, you can add images or embed YouTube videos into these lessons for students to look at. And to share a lesson that you've created, up here at the top you can click Share with Teachers. You can either submit a lesson that you've created to our public lesson library, where we'll review it and then publish it for all teachers to use, or you can get a shareable link that you can send to other teachers for them to import a copy of the lesson you've created. And last thing to note, all of the lessons in our lesson library are fully editable, so you can use all of these same tools to make changes to pre-built lessons.